Good evening, everyone. As most of you know, I'm Rob Mortimer. I'm Pro-Vice Chancellor for Research and International and here at York St John, and I'm delighted to welcome you to tonight's inaugural lecture by Professor Louis Ting Chung. Louis started his academic career at the University of North London, where he was awarded a BSc in Environmental Management. From there, he went to gain a Master's in Geographical Information Systems and his PhD in Tourism Geographies at the University of Hong Kong. Lewis's research interests focus on sustainable tourism with a particular emphasis on nature-based tourism in protected areas and in environmental education and environmental conservation. And his papers have been published in international peer-reviewed journals such as Environmental Education Research, Annals of the American Association of Geographers, Science of the Total Environment, and the Journal of Sustainable Tourism, to name but a few. Tonight, Lewis's presentation will explore the application of academic theories in large-scale projects, such as the rebuilding of tourism at the Wolong National Nature Reserve, Giant Panda Nature Reserve in Sichuan, China. I'm very pleased to hand over to Louis. Thank you, Louis.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here or joining online. I guess a couple of friends that are joining online. They are staying up until now. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning in the Hong Kong and Asia region. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Mortimer for kind introductions and for inviting me to give this inaugural lecture. It is truly an honor to be here and to share my research journey with you. I would like to take this opportunity to wish each of you happy Valentine's Day. Because today is the Chinese Valentine's Day. Today is Chinese Valentine's Day, 2 days before the Western Valentine's Day. And it is truly a special to be delivered inaugural seminars on such a meaningful day. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Tonight, I would like to share my journey in sustainable tourism research from my earlier days in conservation work to academia, and how my research has contributed to the development of sustainable tourism, particularly in protected area, for example, Wolong National Nature Reserve. Through this journey, I hope to highlight the importance of bridging research with real-world conservation and tourism development. I'm currently a professor of tourism and event management at York Business School, York St John University. Before joining YBS, I spent more than 15 years at various universities in Hong Kong and over 9 years at the Education University of Hong Kong, researching and teaching sustainable tourism, ecotourism, and protected area management. During my time in academia, I have also taken on many administrative roles, including program coordinator, associate head, and chair of both research and teaching committees. This experience has allowed me to contribute not only to teaching and research, but also to shaping academic program, supporting faculty development, and also enhance research impact within the university. My academic journey has been shaped by both my undergraduate education and earlier career experience. I hold a PhD in geography from the Hong Kong University. Before entering academia, I spent several years working in the conservation field with the first job is WWF Hong Kong, and then Agricultural Fishery Conservation Department in the Hong Kong government. My passions for sustainable tourism stem from my earlier career experience. My first job after graduating with a BSc in environmental management was at WWF Hong Kong, where I was involved in wetland conservation and worked as an education officer. In this role, I led and organized environmental education program and at the Wetland Nature Reserve in Hong Kong, developing outdoor learning activities for students and the public. This experience not only stimulate my curiosity for research in conservation and sustainable tourism, but also deepens my appreciation for nature and environmental education. Beyond gaining skill in outdoor education, environmental education, this experience was also personally very significant for me because I met my wife here 20 years ago in the nature reserve, in the Wetland Nature Reserve. It was not only an important personal milestone, but also a life-changing personal moment. Working in nature gave me the opportunity to truly appreciate the beautiful and wonderful natural environment. And at the same time, it also allowed me to successfully gain the heart of my wife, to become my wife after we worked together. A moment that made my journey in conservation even more special. Later, while working for Agricultural Fishery Conservation Department, I conduct biodiversity surveys in Hong Kong's protected area, focusing on species monitoring and habitat conservation. This experience led me to ask some research questions, including how effective are environmental education activities to change participant environmental awareness and behavior? How can we measure the long-term impact of conservation education? How does the destination of protected area protect biodiversity? And how do visitor behavior impact protected area? And also, can tourism and conservation can coexist? This question has driven my research agenda over the past decade, and I spend most of my time finding answers to those research questions. To answer this research question, I have taken a comprehensive approach by studying both tourist behaviors and tourism management strategy. On the demand side, my research focused on understanding how tourists perceive and interact with natural environment in protected area. I have explored various factors that influence visitor behavior, including their motivation, sense of place, and the level of specialization in outdoor activities. One crucial aspect of my research has been investigating how much visitors are willing to pay for conservation-related fee, such entrance fee, or eco-friendly accommodation, or eco-friendly service or products. These insights are essential for designing effective conservation funding model while maintaining accessibilities for tourists. On the supply side, I've worked closely with international NGO and eco-certification organizations such as the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, Ecotourism Australia, and Green Globe certification to promote best practice in sustainable tourism. This work involved assessing how tour operators, accommodations, and local community implement sustainable standards and enhance conservation effort through tourism activities. By engaging with industry stakeholders, I have been able to bridge the gap between academic research and practical implementation, ensuring that tourism development aligns with environment protection goals. Ultimately, my research aimed to provide evidence-based recommendations that balance the economic viabilities of tourism, environmental protection, and visitor satisfaction. By understanding both the demand from tourists and management strategy from operator and policymaker, we can develop a more sustainable model for tourism in protected area worldwide. As a researcher, publishing is essential. Over the years, I have published more than 70 research articles, but the journey has not been easy. The journal publication process is not just sharing your finding. It is the test of resilience and perseverance. Some of my manuscripts were rejected more than 10 times before finally get accepted. A process that could last for 2 to 3 years. Each rejection was a learning experience, forcing me to refine my arguments, improve my methodology, and strengthen my findings. This experience has reinforced the importance of persistence in research, the ability to learn from constructive criticism, and the need to constantly adapt and improve. Beyond rejections, the publishing journeys also require patience. The peer review process can be lengthy, sometimes take more than a year from the initial submission to final acceptance. Waiting for reviewer comment, revising manuscript, and submitting paper require a level of commitment that goes beyond just conducting research. It requires dedication to the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. Despite this challenge, publishing research remains one of the most rewarding aspects of academia. It's allowed me to contribute to the body of knowledge, engaging in academia discourse, and influencing policy and practice in sustainable tourism. More importantly, it ensures that my research has a real-world impact, helping tourism operator, conservationists, policymakers make informed decisions. For young researchers, my message is simple. Don't fear rejection, because I've been rejected many, many times. Embrace it. Every rejection is an opportunity to improve. Every revision makes your work stronger. And every published paper is a testament to your dedication and resilience. This key is to remain passionate, open to feedback, and always striving for better. Over the past 15 years, I've been fortunate to contribute to several key research projects in ecotourism planning and development. My work has focused on visitor management for the Hong Kong government and ecotourism planning and management initiative in China and Southeast Asia, including Vietnam and Malaysia. My previous colleagues often admired the fact that my research has allowed me to officially travel around different countries and destinations. Indeed, I have the privilege of visiting over 20 countries worldwide to conduct my research in various nature-based destinations. This experience has enabled me to explore and analyze sustainable tourism development in diverse culture and ecological settings, gaining first-hand insights in the challenging and opportunities associated with responsible tourism practice. Through this project, I've been able to apply academic research to real-world challenges, working closely with stakeholders to develop strategies that balance tourism growth with environmental conservation. My work has provided valuable lessons on how different destinations manage their natural resources while catering to the demand of tourism industry. These experiences have reinforced my belief and that sustainable tourism management require context-specified approaches. A solution that works in one region may not necessarily be applicable elsewhere. One of the most transformative projects in my career has been the ecotourism development at Wolong National Nature Reserve in China. Today, I would like to take some time to share this experience with you. Wolong National Nature Reserve was established in 1963 and is is located in Sichuan provinces, China, covering approximately 200,000 hectares. It is one of the earliest, largest, and most well-known panda research in the country. In 2006, Wolong and its surrounding reserve was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing their critical role in biodiversity conservation. Renowned for its rich biodiversity, Wolong is home to around 150 wild giant panda, accounting for roughly 10% of the global wild panda population. Its significance extends beyond panda conservation, playing a vital role in protecting diverse species and ecosystems. However, in 2008, this region experienced a devastating disaster, the Wenchuan earthquake. Measuring 7.9 in magnitude, the earthquake caused extensive damage to infrastructure and tourism facility and the livelihood of local communities. More than 69,000 died and over 390,000 people were injured and reported missing. Millions were left homeless, and tourism activities in Wolong came to a complete halt. Before the earthquake, ecotourism was a vital economic driver for the local communities. In 2007, Wolong welcomed 250,000 visitors, supporting jobs and local businesses. However, visitor number dropped to fewer than 1,000 in 2009 after the disaster. The economic impact was severe, and local residents' average annual income dropped significantly. This highlights the vulnerabilities of communities that depend on tourism for their livelihood. You can see the destruction was made, including the main road being destroyed, the whole school collapsed, causing over 300 students and teachers to die. The Giant Panda Research Center staff has to rescue the giant panda to move them to a safer place. The earthquake destroyed much of the reserve infrastructure, including panda breeding center and research facility, leading to a temporary relocation of many pandas to other conservation sites. Right after the earthquake, the Hong Kong government donated over 1.5 billion, equivalent to 150 million pounds, to support Wolong reconstructions, for which 23 projects has been categorized into two groups. One is for people's livelihood and infrastructure project, including building hospital, school, and the redevelopment of villages. And the other is for ecological conservation projects, such as habitat reconstruction. I have fortunately been invited to help with post-earthquake reconstruction of ecotourism for the nature reserve. The objective of my project were evaluate the feasibility of ecotourism development in the nature reserve, reformulate development strategy for ecotourism development, and also set up appropriate regulatory system for tourism development in the nature reserve. I was responsible for developing a comprehensive ecotourism development guidelines for the nature reserve, aiming at promoting responsible tourism practice while preserving the area's natural and cultural heritage. Additionally, I play a key role establishing industry standards by designing an accreditation system for eco-tour guide and tourism business. The initiative ensures that tourism operators adhere to higher environmental and service quality standards, enhancing the overall visiting experience while minimizing ecological impact. This effort was essential in revitalizing the local economies through sustainable tourism, providing new opportunity for local communities while ensuring that conservation remained a central focus in the region's long-term development strategy. Between 2014 and 2017, during my 3 years of research project, I frequently conduct field trips to the nature reserve, closely examine the environmental condition and infrastructure challenge in the aftermath of the earthquake. As shown in this picture, the devastation left lasting impact, particularly on the road leading to the nature reserve, which were severely damaged by disaster. The journey to research was not only difficult, but also highly dangerous, especially during the wet season, while frequent landslides occur due to unstable slopes. The weakened terrains make travel unpredictable, often require careful navigation through treacherous paths. Despite these challenges, these field trips were essential for assessing the long-term environmental impact of earthquake and understanding the difficulties of restoring tourism and conservation efforts in the region. To gain valuable insights from the local communities, our team conduct extensive field research, gathering comprehensive data through questionnaire survey and in-depth interview with local residents. Our goal was to understand their perspective, concern, and aspiration regarding tourism development in their region. Over a period of more than 4 months, we make dedicated visits to each household, engaging directly with community members to ensure that their voice were heard. This intensive data collection process provides crucial first-hand insights that inform the development of ecotourism guidelines and the establishment of an accreditation system. By incorporating local perspectives, we aim to create a framework that not only supports sustainable tourism, but also empower the community, ensuring that they play an active role in shaping the future of tourism in their region. We also organized a series of training sections designed for local residents, government officials, and tourism business operators, focusing on sustainable tourism concept and principle. This section aims to enhance awareness and build capacity among stakeholders, equipping them with the necessary knowledge and skill to integrate sustainable principles into their operation. Beyond theoretical discussion, we provide practical guidelines on how business could adopt environmental responsible practice, minimize their ecological footprint, and contribute to the long-term conservation of the nature reserve. Through this training initiative, we sought to foster a shared commitment to sustainable tourism, ensuring that local enterprise could thrive economically while protecting the integrity of the region's natural environment. As part of our research, we extensively travel across the nature reserve, conducting thoroughly evaluation to identify both existing and potential natural and cultural resources suitable for ecotourism development. This process involves assessing biodiversity, landscape features, heritage sites, and local tradition ensuring that tourism initiative could be developed in a way that respect and preserve the region's unique ecological and cultural access. The entire project spanned 3 years, during which we conduct detailed field assessment, stakeholder consultation, and strategic planning to lay the groundwork for sustainable tourism framework. Our efforts aims to strike a balance between conservation and economic opportunities, ensuring that future tourism development would be both environmentally responsible and benefit to the local community. What we have achieved for this project was that we have developed ecotourism development guidelines and an ecotourism accreditation system, which were closely aligned with the principle of sustainable tourism to ensure the tourism development in the Wolong National Nature Reserve would be sustainable enough to avoid destruction to the invaluable natural environment, which is the most important habitat for giant panda, as well as other endangered species. We have also engaged the local resident. It is very unlikely in China, taking their views into consideration for establishing ecotourism development in the nature reserve. Fortunately, our guidelines and accreditation system has been implemented by the local government, which ensure that the tourism development of the Wolong National Nature Reserve is integrated with conservation goals with economic development. Well, this project holds deep significance for me, both in terms of my research career and its broader impact on conservation and sustainable tourism. Through this work, I have been able to contribute valuable insight into how ecotourism can be developed responsibly, while also making meaningful contribution to protected area management. One of the key outcomes of this research project has been the collection of the important data, which has significantly contributed to my research and publication in the field of sustainable tourism and conservation. The data has advanced academic knowledge and informed practical decision-making in the management of protected area. Beyond publications, this project has played an essential role in my academic career. It was instrumental in building a significant research impact case for the research assessment exercise in 2020 in Hong Kong, demonstrating how academic research can translate into real-world impact. Furthermore, my work in this area has led to regional and international recognition in the field of ecotourism. The ability to contribute to global discussion on conservation and tourism has been incredibly fulfilling, and it reinforced the importance of bridging research with practice. This recognition has also been reflected in research awards I have received, including the President Award for Outstanding Performance in Knowledge Transfer in 2017, along with other awards recognizing research output and impact. This acknowledgement serves as motivation to continue pushing the boundaries of ecotourism research and its applications. Finally, the project has provided opportunity for me to take on advisory roles. I have been invited and appointed as the members of various advisory committees focused on protected area planning, management, and ecotourism management development. These roles allow me to contribute my expertise beyond academia, ensuring the research funding helps shape policy and practice in conservation and tourism. Ultimately, this project is more than just a research initiative for me. It represents a lifelong commitment to sustainable tourism, environmental conservation, and the community that depends on them. The intersections of academia, policy, and practice make this work so meaningful. In conclusion, this journey has reinforced my belief that sustainable tourism is a critical tool for both conservation and community development. When managed effectively, tourism generates economic opportunity and benefit, and support biodiversity conservation, helping protect our natural and cultural heritage for future generations. Through this project, I have seen firsthand how academic research plays a key role in shaping real-world policy and practice. Research isn't just about publishing paper. It's about making an impact, influencing decision-making, and ensuring that conservation strategies are both practical and sustainable. My journey from conservation work to academia has further highlighted the importance of bridging theory and practice. Sustainable tourism cannot succeed in isolation. It requires continual collaboration between researchers, policymakers, industry stakeholders, and local communities. By connecting research with on-the-ground implementation, we can create meaningful change. As I move forward, I look forward to further collaboration in sustainable tourism research. I truly believe that by working together, sharing knowledge, exchanging ideas, and applying research in real-world context, we can develop innovative solutions that benefit both people and the planet. Before I put an end to my talk, I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to my family. My wife, who is here with me, has been my unwavering support throughout my career. She has taken care of our home while I was away to field trip, to travel. And to my children who couldn't be here today because they have school tomorrow, but they are online. And I want to let them know that how much your love, patience, and encouragement means to me. Your support has always been a source of strength in my journey. I also want to extend my deepest appreciation to my extended family and friends who still wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, who has stood by me through every challenge. Their unwavering support became even more profound when I faced a critical health issue situation and was in ICU for 18 days, just before taking up my professorship in YBS in May 2023. During that difficult time, their encouragement and belief in my recovery gave me the strength to push forward. A special thanks to Brandon, our interim dean, and our previous dean, Bob, who went out of their ways to make special arrangements for my work after I was discharged from the hospital. Their kindness and understanding allowed me to transition back into my professional responsibilities without additional stress, and I will always be grateful for their support. Today, as I stand here, I do so not just an individual, but as someone who has been lifted up by the love, care, and the generosity of those around me. To my wife, my children, my family, my friends, and my colleagues, thank you for being part of this journey with me. God bless you all. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, there he is.
seat. Thanks, Lewis. That was really interesting. I'm slightly jealous of the fieldwork, although I also have a discipline which allows me to travel and do fieldwork elsewhere. So we've got time for some questions. There may be even some from very sleepy people online. Any questions for Lewis? Yep.
Thank you very much, Louis. That was really thank you very much, Louis. That was really, really interesting. I love that aspect. So my question is, I have done some research, especially in the area of sustainability. So we got a paper recently published on the same. But it surprised me when you said, like when you get stakeholders involved, especially people to talk to your local community. I think that for me, I find that really hard to get people to talk, especially since they went through a disaster recently. So my question is about, how did they understand the idea of sustainability? Was the question focused on that?
Right.
And my second question is, how was the response? Were they into it? Or, I know it was in that paper used.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me more about the response?
Okay. Well, actually, when I was there to conduct interview with my team, actually, all those residents are living there. They are really desperate to have economic development again because they've been suffering for about 5 to 6 years because of their farmland actually being converted to become a kind of conservation area because the China government wanted to conserve the panda and then asking them to not farm in the wild areas. They're planting bamboo to helping to re-establish the habitat for panda. And then actually, after the earthquake, they've got no visitor to visit the nature reserve. And then they could not make their money, could not earn their living. And then they are really enthusiastic talking with us because they're knowing that we come to help them how to, for example, rebuild their road towards to the city, nearby city. They even come to me that, are you coming over, to help us to design the road to the city? I said, no, I'm not. I'm the one helping you to use a kind of approach to rebuild your tourism industry in the nature reserve. But obviously, they are really desperate. Someone helping them to rebuild their economy. Therefore, actually, because the project is funded by the Hong Kong government, and we have very big help from the local government. We visit every individual household to do the questionnaire and also interview. So, but sometimes, particularly in mainland China, you find really difficult to openly discuss things with the local resident because always government officials sit next to me, during the interview. But the thing is, when they left for toilet, and the resident will tell me about complaining a lot to me. But anyway, I couldn't help them for that. For example, their lands being destroyed, something like that. I couldn't really help them for that. But the thing is, I have to ensure that one question they always ask me that did they really sacrifice too much to panda? Because they're living in a nature reserve. And then they believe that, why me? I have to sacrifice my livelihood. I'm not farming, on the slope, reserving the area for planting bamboo forests to preserve the conservation of panda. Why us? They always ask us that. Therefore, through the interview and discussion, and then we will be able to get an idea what they want. Therefore, when we are constructing the guideline of ecotourism development for the nature reserve, we have to take into account their concern, their view, to establish, the guideline. Therefore, simply throughout, that few years in that particular area, I'm one of the most welcoming person in that community. So that's good to me because every time I visit the nature reserve back, and then they're really welcoming, and then they organize a party at night, something like that. So we have to build trust with the resident in order to get them to disclose to you, the information and accepting your interview. This is really important. Hope I could answer your question.
Thank you. Any more?
Thank you very much, Lewis. I wanted to ask you, in terms of the sort of quality of the park for conservation, how would you rate the facility pre-earthquake and then once it was rebuilt?
Well, actually, after the earthquake, all the infrastructure, including the Panda Research Center, many of the hotel, motel, or even the farmhouse been collapsed. Okay, all gone. So they have to rebuild it. One thing, before they think about to rebuild it, and then they have to ensure that the road access to the nature reserve has been built. Okay, the Hong Kong government actually subsidized all the fundings for building the road, but it's really, really difficult to build the road because the terrain actually destroyed entirely for after the earthquake. You can see the picture I show you that landslides are really serious, particularly during wet season. And I remember one time we traveling to the out of the nature reserve, and we heard that the driver driving us from the nature reserve to the nearby town, driving back to the nature reserve, and then they told me that I was being washed down to the river, the car. So it's really dangerous. And also, luckily that China government, not only Hong Kong, they are comparatively more wealth, okay? And then different part of mainland Chinese the city, for example, like Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, they donate quite a lot of money to have a reconstruction project. So obviously, the tourism facility before and after, you will see a very, very big difference. Now you will see a 5-star Panda Research Center there, okay? And not only one, they've got 3, okay? They have their Panda Breeding Research Center holding more than like 300 captive panda and keep breeding them and releasing them back to the wild. And I understand that 2 years before, the number of wild panda in the wild is already went up to nearly 1,000 now. And one of the things that the colleagues in Warlong National Research told me that it is no good for them because IUCN going to take giant panda as a critical endangered species to become endangered species. Therefore, they may not necessarily to have more funding to support they are doing, giant panda conservation. So this is a bad thing. But in terms of biodiversity conservation, it is a good thing. But for the operator, it is not a good thing because they got funding cut.
That's what we need to get research funding. You just need one there. Yeah.
Brilliant, fascinating. And as originally a geographer too, that's absolutely brilliant. Where next?
Well, after that project, actually I've been invited and discussed with over 30 or 40 protected area in mainland China and Southeast Asia, asking me to visit them, to come up with a plan for them for ecotourism development. So for Warlong National Reserve, that they adopt the sustainable tourism plan that we made for them, and very lucky that we have a chance to participate in the project because I read their previous plan before the earthquake. They intend to build skiing resorts, build kind of like a theme park within the resort. So it's I can say it's lucky because it's disaster. It is not lucky, it's a disaster. But the thing is, lucky in the sense of lucky is disaster actually stopped their development. Okay, and then we came up and then to revitalize the whole plan so that they are still taking into consideration, heavily in consideration together with tourism development. So from time to time when I visit back to Hong Kong and then if I have time I will visit them again. And still seeing that they are working very closely with the sustainable tourism principle concept. I will see, the hotel there, actually they are recycling, they got recycling green. This is so facilitating that not only recycling bin, but also they have different kind of notice that you have to save water, save energy everywhere. And they do still have a logo. If they've been certified as a hotel, as a certification hotel, they still have a logo in front of their door, indicating that they are green hotel and they're operating sustainably. So that is, who knows? I don't really have a crystal ball whether they will keep on doing that. But the thing is, after we left for the project and then we passed the project to the local organization to hold the accreditation system. And what we can do is I help them to promote in the Southeast Asia region. When I have a seminar, have a talk, education section, I will asking all tourists, okay, if they are planning to visit nature reserve, please select those certified hotels first. Okay. Otherwise, we need to use a market force to push them to keep on. Otherwise, they find that there's no useless. That the logo is useless for them, and then they will not keep on doing sustainability.
That's great. I think I know my question, but what guides the guidelines? So what principles are kind of embedded within those guidelines to kind of strike the right balance? And I guess different people will have different perspectives about what the right balance is and different priorities.
Yes.
So what guides the guidelines that you're involved?
Yeah. Well, actually, before I taking up the project, I worked really closely with different sustainable tourism organizations, including one is very important for sustainable tourism, is Global Sustainable Tourism Council. And Global Sustainable Tourism Council actually, they're setting up criteria and guidelines for tourism operator, including hotel, tour guide. Okay, they're setting them a standard that if you wanted to, because in the world there's a various of eco-certified label, okay? The Global Sustainable Tourism Council actually, they work, what does it mean? How can I say? The certified body. Meaning that they are big boss, okay? Providing guidelines for the certified body to develop their certified program, okay? So I was one of the technical director for Global Sustainable Tourism Council in Asian Pacific region previously. So I worked closely with their guideline. Then therefore, after conducting interview and visiting the resident, sometimes you couldn't set the guideline too strict for people, they don't really have much idea about sustainability. So therefore, we interview different stakeholders in the village, in different village, and in the nature reserve. And then we have to fine tune a little bit. Otherwise, if you ask them, okay, all the food waste, you have to turn it to a compost, something like that. Okay, no one's gonna do it. Okay, you make their life more difficult. So therefore, we have to set a kind of balance. Okay, you can do something that align with the sustainable tourism guideline, but would not trouble you too much. Okay, first of all, we have to at least letting them to participate first. Otherwise, if you set the guidelines too strict for them, no one can let you. I'm not going to be the welcoming persons in the nature reserve, obviously. So therefore, we align with the international organization principle to set up the guidelines.
Any more? Yeah, one on the end.
Hi, thank you, Lucas, for such a wonderful lecture. I presume that the areas that you go and work in, they do not have the locals do not have that much of awareness in the sustainability and all the things that you protect the area and so as you just also mentioned so what kind of awareness programs have been organized by you or the government, or are there any politics involved in that? If you just want to shed light on that, okay?
Well, for our project, actually we have a series of training sections. So not only for the government official, tourism-related business, we have public forum for the local residents as well. They're talking about, because they always really concerned and very angry about why do they need to sacrifice for panda conservation. Right? Because why other people, why Beijing people is not going to sacrifice, panda conservation, why us, okay? And we have to letting them know that, okay, by conserving panda, there's a gimmick for their destination to attract tourists, okay? If they will be able to conserve the habitat for panda, then they will be able to attract more tourists, and then you have opportunities to earn tourist money. So therefore, we have to make really clear to them that, okay, they may probably sacrifice a little bit, but the thing is, eventually, when they are doing business, particularly many of them, before the earthquake, over 90% of the residents within the nature reserve, they are working in tourism. They are having various homestay, restaurant, a guide, and so on and so forth. Therefore, if they, maintain the area, they still be able to see panda. Obviously, in the past 3 years, in that 3 years, I haven't seen one wild panda before. Anyway, I see a lot of captive panda in the research center. They still have a kind of focus and brand, okay, to attract tourists. So after the earthquake, actually, I remember a couple years ago, right before the COVID, we visited them again, and then I found that there's many hotels, small hotel, homestay, restaurant, and particularly during what we call Golden Week in mainland China, they got a 1 week holiday, 3 times of 1 week holiday. So there's actually traffic congestion in the nature reserve. And also all the accommodation fully booked. And there's a comparatively higher class of accommodation charged for about £150 per night. Obviously, when we went there, it's only charged us less than £10, or for £5 or £4 or £5 per night. So you can see the big difference. If they keeping their place with a focus on panda conservation, and then they will definitely a really good brand to attract tourists, and they will eventually benefit economically. So we do have this kind of pitching to them, okay? And also, not only us, but also they have NGO there, and the NGO keep doing environmental conservation. I remember one of the homestay owner actually came over to the UK to study a master's degree in sustainable tourism up to Scotland and returned back to their hometown for doing conservation work, try to further put sustainable tourism practice to working on a hotel and also organizing a environmental education program for both local residents and also for the tourists.
Great, thank you very much. We should let these poor people online go to sleep. So, can you join me in thanking Lewis one more time for a great inaugural lecture? Just got a small gift for Lewis, and then we will adjourn for drinks. Hopefully it's sustainable. Great,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.